Hello, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Ladies, are you feeling the shifts of menopause, not just physically, but deep within your emotions? Maybe you're feeling fatigue, anxiety, and you wondered which workouts truly support you through perimenopause and menopause. Well, beyond just burning calories, today we're going to talk about some of those benefits of cardio and strength training that's tailored to balance out our hormones, boost your mood, protect your bone health, right? It's not just for your body, your physical health, but truly healing, even emotionally, to help you to thrive again. Okay. So, again, I am Gio Elvitt, an emotional wellness coach dedicated to helping menopausal women with a holistic approach and focus not just on your menopause symptoms, because sometimes we just concentrate on the actual menopausal symptoms and we forget that we have to address self-care in all its aspects, right? Our physical, mental, emotional health, it all plays a key role so that we can thrive during this time. So don't just focus on your symptoms, focus also on your emotional health so that you can be your best, the best version of yourself during this time. Okay, so today we'll talk about, some of those exercises that are going to be helpful. And also, we're going to talk about why we can't just focus on one type of exercise during this time, which is something that I learned. Okay, so let me know, please, where you're all connecting from in the chat so that I know who's out there listening. And we can interact. I encourage you, if you're already subscribed, you can just click in that comment box and start commenting away. If you're not subscribed, you just have to click on that black box that says subscribe and then wait a minute and then click in the comment box. And then you can comment. I love being able to interact with you during these lives. It just injects me, right? And I know last week some of the ladies commented that they were having some trouble and they weren't able to chat for some reason. So again, let me know. And you can let me know in our WhatsApp group chat, or you can text me, personally, and let me know if you're continuing to have a problem, and we'll check in because it seems like maybe there was some kind of glitch. Some ladies were on live, and I appreciate that, that you're on and you want to comment. So we're going to try to figure out what's going on. And if you are on and you're just listening and you're just sitting back relaxing and you don't feel like jumping in, that's okay too. We're glad that you're here. Okay. So I see Tiffany's here. Hey, Tiffany. Alabama is in the house. Joanna. Hi, Joanna. Terry, good to see you here from the Bronx, New York. Sheila G. Hey, Sheila G from Florida. Nice. Great to have you all here. Okay. So we're going to talk about how menopause impacts the body and the mind, right? We know we've talked about over and over again, we have hormonal fluctuations during menopause. So it contributes to our stress, it contributes to anxiety and sleep issues, as we talked about last week. If you didn't get a chance to check out that live on sleep, I highly recommend it. Some tips about helping us to try to get better sleep during this time too. And physical movement, it's a powerful tool to release stored emotions and stress. Okay, so always remember there's a mind and body link. You can't, have mental health or physical health or emotional health apart from one of those, right? It's important as a whole to address all these factors of our health and our physical health as well in order to be truly well all around, right? So think about it. Our bodies, we hold on to a lot of stress. It could be because of trauma, unexpressed emotions sometimes, and movement be a release valve, like helping to space for healing. So it could be that when you're stressed, and you think about in your case, do you clench your jaw or, tighten your shoulders? Exercise can help release that physical tension. And with that, often release emotional burdens too. So tell me in the chat. Let's see. Oh, Karen's here. Hola, Karen. Ida. Hey, Ida from Georgia, Lawrenceville. Nice to have you here. Hey, Shantae. Nice to have you here too. Welcome, everybody. Okay. So tell me, when you're feeling stressed, where do you tend to carry your stress? Do you notice? Because I know for me, it was like my neck always, I would wake up and it was just like, oh, or during the day at work, just get a stiff neck. And sometimes it lasted for days and it was just very painful. So we all carry our stresses in different areas. And it's good to note that. So try to make a note of where you're carrying your stress and you can tailor, okay? Good. All right. So, and if you, when you see me looking over here, it's because I have my tablet to be able to check the chat. So that's why you'll constantly see me here trying to update and make sure I'm up to par. Okay. So each exercise has its different benefits, right? Some emotional and mental benefits. So what we're going to do again is encourage you to check with your physician. Always consult with your doctor before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have a pre-existing condition. This content that I share is for informational purposes, is not a substitute for professional medical advice. So keep that in mind and make sure you always do, what's best for you and you consult with your doctor. Okay. So let's see. What do we say? Karen says, I carry stress in my shoulders. Yeah, very common. Ida says shoulders and neck. Shoulders and neck. Yeah, Terry says neck and shoulders. That's a popular one. Sheila G says my neck and shoulders. Neck and shoulders, got it. Tiffany says shoulders. Shantae says shoulders and neck. Hey, Glenda. Glenda's here. Welcome. Yes, shoulders and neck, the popular areas that we carry our stress. Okay, so one of the things, the first thing we're going to talk about is like some cardio. Mindful walking. Walking is great, right? So walking and hiking as well, low impact. So the benefits of that, it elevates your endorphins and also supports weight management. During menopause, we complain about that weight gain. Particularly, we complain about our midsection, that belly fat, that stubborn belly fat, right? Walking and hiking, this type of cardio can help with weight management, and it also raises that feel good, right? Those feel good hormones, so you have better mood when you have regular cardio in your exercise routine. It raises that mood via those endorphins. Also, swimming or water aerobics are really, really good, and they cushion your joint. Swimming, if you have a pool, for those of us that are in warmer climates and we have access to pools all year round, or you may live in an area where it has indoor pools when it's winter time, right? So it helps you when you have those hot flashes, right? You get 2 for 1. You're cool and you're exercising at the same time. It also improves your circulation, and you have the physical benefits of your cardiovascular health. So cardio, right, goes with cardiovascular health. That's what we do, cardio. It also boosts your energy. And again, it improves your overall mood. So you have a win-win with that. But with the emotional benefits, it gives you stress reduction, which who doesn't need stress reduction? We live in a stressful world. A lot of it we can't avoid, right? We do what we can to manage it, but helps us to reduce our stress. It clears our mind, right? When you're focusing on your exercise, you're not thinking so much about those things in life that are the stressors for you. It helps you, like if you're walking outdoors in nature, connects you with nature. And we talk about mindfulness a lot, because the importance of actually being in the present, which is so important, because again, the hustle and bustle of this life does not allow us to enjoy the present all the time. We're doing multiple things at the same time, multitasking, so we can't really enjoy the moment. But you focus on, if you're doing a nature walk, being present, enjoying that moment. Connecting with nature has incredible effects on for you emotionally and mentally. So, and it adds a meditative quality, right? You kind of like walking and strolling and just thinking. It helps you with positive thoughts. So that's something that if you haven't, incorporated in your routine, you haven't tried swimming, you haven't tried nature walks or cardio, it's an excellent way to start, right? And again, because if you have issues with joints, swimming, which are one of the my orthopedic surgeon had highly recommended swimming in all. It's good for your overall body workout. It's one of the, he says, is one of the best that you can possibly get when it comes to working out, and it's easy on your joints, right? So you can do some mindful breathing while you're walking. That's going to also add to that relaxation and that stress reduction. And when you're doing whatever type of exercise, keep in mind, because sometimes we get intense depending on the exercise that we're doing, and we forget to breathe. And it's really key to do that. So as you're doing your walk, think about, or as you're taking steps, if you're not able to go outside because you too. So again, cardio, the physical, as our estrogen is starting to decline. The other benefit of it is sleep. We talked about sleep last week. It aids in sleep quality by stabilizing your body. Again, we talked last week, we don't want to exercise too close to bedtime because then it's going to have the opposite effect and not help us to sleep. Okay, so after cardio, we're going to talk about gentle strength training, body and weights, body weight and light weights. Now, this is important because most, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say most, at least sometimes the majority of us, we do concentrate on cardio because we're only focusing on, I want to lose weight, right? I want to lose weight, and we're thinking about aesthetics and we want to be thinner. During this stage of our life, the focus is not on being thin and losing weight. It's a great benefit that can come along with it, right? With eating healthy and exercising, but it's not our key focus. It's not our key focus. What we need to remember is that at this point in our life, strength training is crucial in perimenopause and menopause because we're losing our muscle mass as our estrogen level decreases. And we're losing our mobility. So we need to move our bodies to be stronger. So it's all about being stronger. We're a lot better off with just a little bit more curves, ladies. It's okay to have a little bit more curves if that means, our bodies are going to be stronger. So a little bit more curves, but a lot stronger. That's what we're worried about, right? So a lot more muscle, because muscles, that's what's protecting our bones and preventing osteoporosis, which becomes common, right? Muscle, think of your muscle as like long-term life insurance. So later on in life, you'll be able to lift those bag of groceries up the steps, right? Without feeling like, oh my goodness, I can't do this, or I need help, right? And it's important for our metabolic health too, because if you are concerned about weight, this is going to improve your metabolism. Muscle building is going to improve your metabolism. So without muscle, basically think about this. Without muscle, it's impossible to be healthy. As this estrogen drops, it's more difficult to build this muscle. So I want you to think in terms of that. We're not thinking about, trying to look like Barbie or a supermodel. We're trying to be stronger and healthier in this way. And we'll talk in another live about choices in our food. But when it comes to exercise, think about building muscle, building strength, because it is an issue that we've seen overall with women in menopausal years. As that time goes by, when you don't build your muscle and you don't do strength training, then you have those hip fractures, right? And problems with your back, these joints, muscle aches, because we're not focusing on building. So some of the things that we can do, right, are, squats, those famous squats. They're not that easy, but they work. They really, really do work. So you can incorporate squats, wall push-ups. Some of us, it's hard to get down. I know I never really liked floor exercises. That's why I focused on cardio, because I love to dance. So as long as I was dancing, I was having fun, and it didn't feel like exercise, it was working for me. But then I learned, okay, I'm having extra joint pain and these muscle aches, and it's because I needed to build that muscle mass, build that strength, do those strengthening exercises. So now I'm incorporating that more. So those squats, wall push-ups to build the bone density and that core stability. Our core is key to everything, right? So resistance bands, I don't know if any of you have those at home. The stretchy bands, they're great for that too. Because sometimes maybe weights, you feel like weight's a little bit too much. You can start with the resistance bands. They're versatile, they're gentle on your joints, and they're perfect for upper body and hip work. I was noticing that I was having a lot of pain in my hips, the hip joint. I don't know if any of you are experiencing that, but that's, the hip, the knees. If any of this resonates with you, let me know, because this is what starts to happen during this time. Okay, let me check what the chat here. Let's see. Joanna had said her neck and shoulders also, that's where she carried the strength. Ida said, great idea. Joanna says, I love doing walking. Yes, walking is great. I love walking too. Hello, Jahir. Welcome. Glad to see you. Leah is here. Welcome, Leah. Leah says, good evening, everyone. So has anyone, had that concept that cardio was the focus and you just would burning it out? We know how it was, if we were 80s, 90s, step aerobics and all these cardio exercises and strength training went out the door. Was that happening to any of you as well? Because it was definitely me. I was focused on just doing my cardio and forgot the strength training. Let's see. Leah says yes. Weakness in the hips. Sheila D says yes, ma'am. All of that. Yes, we are on the same page. Shantae says yes. Started having hip pain, but weight training has helped me a lot. Yeah. Gladys Infante, welcome. Hey, nice to have you. So yes, and it's like I'm thinking I am too young to have all these aches and pains and struggling after, if I sat in a meeting and it was time to get up after an hour or so, I'm like struggling to get up. And I said, what is going on? But that was it. The strength training was lacking out of the exercise routine. So the physical benefits, again, of our strength training, it's bone density, muscle mass, metabolism, and improved posture too. When you do your weights, you notice you walk differently. Right? So think about, all the benefits that you'll get when you incorporate that. Also the emotional benefits, you feel more empowered because you're stronger. When it comes to lifting things or bending, because even I was noticed if something fell and I was bending to get something, it was like, oh, why does this feel like such a struggle? Or going up those stairs. When you can do that and not be completely out of breath, you feel good. So it empowers you when you regain that strength. So that all of that builds your confidence as well. And, you feel overall feeling of being more capable, right? I can do these things for myself. You're not going to end up curved over in your older years, because that's what happens. You've seen the older ladies curved over, and it's usually they didn't stretch, they didn't do strength training. So we can avoid that if we take these steps. Okay. Let's see. Karen says, yes, that was me. Focused on cardio. Yep. Shanae says, my hip is crazy. Shanae, I know, I totally feel you. I just was like, what in the world is happening to me, right? Nikki, hey, Nikki, welcome. Nice to have you here. She says, I need muscle mass back. Yeah, we absolutely need muscle mass back. Karen says, I've been inspired. I'm going to do some squats and lift some weights for a few minutes while I'm listening to you. Make it work for you, right? Listen to live stream, get those tips and get your strength training and muscle mass. Yeah, when I learned that, I was like, hello, Gio, this is why, you're feeling the way you're feeling, because you're focusing on, burn the calories. And, we all have our little devices on our watch that lets us know how many calories we burned and how many steps. And we're like, that's what we're focused on. Try to refocus, especially during this stage of cardio is good. Like we mentioned those benefits, strength training, muscle building muscle mass, essential. during this time. Okay, so again, you can do the squats. Maybe if it's at the beginning hard for you to do regular squats, you can use a chair to support you as you're doing those squats. And the wall push-ups are sometimes, most of the time, more convenient than getting on the floor and doing the floor push-ups. You can do bicep curls. And if you don't have weights, you can freeze water bottles. You can get frozen water bottles and then use that to curl, okay, to do your curls. Light dumbbells you can use, and focus on your form over intensity. At the beginning, we're like, okay, now I got to build strength and muscle mass. I'm going to go and lift all these 25-pound weights or whatever. Start small and, do what you can and then work your way up. And there's many videos out there, free videos that show you how to do these exercises if you're not, familiar with how you should be doing it and your form, because you want to be careful to do them properly so that you're not hurting yourself, right? We want to help ourselves, not hurt ourselves. So these workouts, they preserve, they build our lean muscle mass, and they're key for hormone regulation too, and our metabolic health. So again, we're having hormone fluctuations during this time, and this is going to help us with those with that hormone regulation. So it's a win-win all the way around. Okay, so we talked about cardio, we talked about strength training. Also, we want to think about yoga or gentle stretching, right? That's basically what it is. It's gentle stretching. And the physical benefits is that it builds flexibility and balance, right? Helps with joint health and circulation. Key for that. So this is another thing that I realized the great benefits. Just taking the time, a few minutes, I started doing stretches, and wow, it just made me feel so good. Just stretch that body out, get down on the floor. If you have a mat, do 10 minutes or so, and you're gonna see over time how it makes such a difference in how your joints and your overall body feels. The emotional benefits, the stress relief that you get, and what you can do, because it helps, with your flexibility, your balance, your joint health, your circulation. It also releases that tension, that emotional tension that we carry, because whatever could be going on, work, family life, right? Those are the stresses. It also calms the nervous system. And, when you calm your nervous system, that's going to help you with your emotional health. It also helps build self-compassion, because you're taking the time to move your body in a way that's going to improve it. You're letting your body know that this is important, right? You matter to me. I want to be better. I want to feel better. And I'm taking the time out, right? You're sending your body a message that you care about. You care about it, and you're going to take the time because you know that this is important, right? So it also helps you with, body awareness for emotional processing. You talk about the importance of processing our emotions, and it's the whole step, right? But unless we take time to bring it down and care for ourselves, we have to tie in mind and body and emotions. And taking care of our body in this way helps us emotionally as well, right? So think about that. Some of the exercises you can do for this is cat cow, also the child's pose, gentle neck rolls. You can roll, and since many of us talked about neck and shoulder issues, this is key for us. You can gently roll your neck, one direction, gently roll it to the left, gently roll it to right. And again, you can look up videos. They have many videos that can show you how to do this properly. And you can do seated stretches, shoulder exercises that can help you too, because I told you I carried a lot of tension here. So I would do the neck rolls, and also you can do those shoulder exercises to, lift and release, to release the tension. Again, I'm no exercise pro, but you can follow videos that are going to help you to be able to do this properly. Just mentioning some of the things that I've noticed that have helped me, and that in general are helpful, but there are, again, tons of videos out there. You can find somebody you like, because not everybody, connects with everybody, right? So you find somebody that you like, that you enjoy, and then you follow, and then you're going to be able to stay consistent. Do something that you really like. When you like it, you'll be consistent with it. Let's see. Leah said, oh, let's see. I just said, yes, knees, back issues, it truly helps you. Leah says, any YouTube videos or videos for cardio and strength? Yes, but I don't make any particular recommendations. You can do a search. Yeah, just I have some that I follow, but I don't particularly make any recommendations. But you can do a search for some menopausal exercises. They even have specific that says exercises for menopause, and you'll be able to find someone there. Shanae says squats while brushing teeth in the morning. Okay, you're making your multitask work, squatting, brushing your teeth. Leah says, love that idea. Shanae, Ida says, walk with the weighted vest and ankle weights. That's good. I've seen the weighted vest. I haven't tried that, but do you have the weighted vest, Ida? Let me know. Do you use it? Are you saying you heard of it, or have you used it? If you use it, let us know. Like, because I've seen women wearing the weighted vest. I have some ankle weights. I have tried that. Nikki says, I need to stretch more. Yeah, we all do. Leah says, love my stretching, releases stress too. Absolutely. But Chanel, hi Chanel. Welcome. Says, I'm scared of weights because I don't want to bulk up, but I will try the bands. Yeah. Well, Chanel, we know you already got those Angela Bassett arms. But yeah, stretch bands, use stretch bands, and you don't have to use heavy weights. You don't have to use heavy weights. I understand you don't want to, because they don't have to be heavy. But yeah, do the stretch bands, because that's going to help you too with strength and resistance. Okay, Karen says, it's true about stretching, feels so good. Even animals stretch. They do. So even in the morning, it was suggested to me, before you get out of bed, you do that cat stretch before you get out of bed. And it does, it feels great. Don't start jumping out of bed. It makes a difference to warm up the body. Say it just says stretching has helped me release trauma in certain areas of my body. I had no idea it would benefit my body so much, but it works. It really does. I mean, and I feel so good, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. You wouldn't think something that simple, but it really does. So highly recommend it. Leah says, okay, we'll do a search. And Tiffany says, I'm looking forward to trying the stretching. Didn't realize the benefits. Yeah. Sheila says, stretching helps me keep my muscles from tightening up to the point of having pain just lying on them. Yeah, it really, really, really does. Ida says, I use it. Okay, great. So she uses the weighted vest. Good. I have to check that out. Let's see what you'll have to text on the side. You'll have to let me know which one you use. Terry says, yes, I need to stretch more in the mornings. Ida says, I add weights when this thing is cutting off. You said you add weights. Okay, but very good. Good. So we're all going to be trying. So let me know, please. I like to hear how it's going. So if you tried some of these stretches and you see improvement, please let us know. Join the WhatsApp chat so we can keep encouraging each other. You can let us know things that you tried, and we can tip swap. Okay. Also, the fourth thing, pelvic floor awareness. Right. Our core is key. I'm sure you all have heard this. If you've worked out, our core involves everything. So physically, it supports us for bladder control, that core stability, and back health. Some of us during perimenopause, menopause, we've noticed, right, issues with bladder. We're going to the bathroom, urinating more frequently. So pelvic floor exercises, working at our core, very important. And the emotional benefits, right? This is interesting. It helps you to reclaim the connection to that vital part of womanhood that's connected to our womanhood. And it helps you to feel grounded as well. Gives you that grounded feeling, and addresses anxiety around this area. So think about that, right? how important is our core? And for women, it's connected to so many other things when it comes to this section, reproductive. That's what we think about a lot as women. These reproductive areas affect us. So that those pelvic floor exercises and working at your core. And it's hard sometimes, right? I have never been a person that liked floor exercises, but now you can even do, the ab workouts that are standing. And I've done searches and I found several that I like. They're standing abs. So if you're also that kind of person that does not like, the floor exercises, you don't want to get down to do those push-ups. Again, you can do the wall push-ups. You don't want to get down and do those crunches. You can do standing abs. And it really is going to be helpful during this time for you to build that core stability. Okay, so try some of these out and let me know, how it goes, and just stick to it. At the beginning, it may be hard. Any routine, any exercise routine at the beginning is difficult, but you start slow and easy. Set a goal to maybe 5-10 minutes. You're going to start stretching every day, right? Start stretching in the morning. First thing, I love stretching in the morning. And then during the day to break out. If you're a person, especially that works at a desk and you don't get to move around, break up your work routine, get up, do some gentle stretching. You're going to feel, great. And in the evening before you go to sleep, because you're not doing, it's not going to be active cardio that's going to prevent you from sleeping, you can do some stretching. If you're not able to do it, maybe first thing in the morning or during the day, the great thing about stretching, you can do it in the evening as well. Okay, let's see, catch up here on the chat. Terry says, or I think I said, Ida says, oh, she adds weights when it gets light. Okay, Nikki says, which stretches do you all do? So you all want to share in the chat and see which stretches. And I said, I have this 10-minute stretch, and she does different. Like she does a full body stretch. Then there's one where she does upper body, and another one where she concentrates on a lower body stretch. So again, that whole cat, I love the cat cow. It just feels so good. And that child's pose is just something about it. It just releases that stress to me right away. I almost stay in that pose for a while and I don't want to come out of it because it feels so good. But you'll know, as you try out different things, you'll know what feels good, and then stick to that. Stick to what, feels good and, works for you. Okay. And okay, Nika says she says Kegels. Leah says, wow, never knew that regarding the pelvic exercises. Makes sense. Hey, Janet, welcome. Yes, it is. It's you learn so much, right? When you're going through the stage and trying to figure out what works. Yeah, I learned all these things and always, want to share out there with you phenomenal ladies, right? We help each other out. The fifth thing is breath work and mindful movement. So physically, the benefits, right? Breathing. We talk a lot about diaphragmatic breathing. Oxygenation is very important, and it helps, nervous system regulation. Emotional benefits, it's calming for anxiety. Again, helps you feel grounded, and it helps you to access that inner wisdom. And it provides an emotional release. And for breathing, when we talk about diaphragmatic breathing, because we're born breathing diaphragmatically, and as the stresses in life increase, we stop. We forget how we're supposed to breathe properly. So again, it's when you take a deep breath, right? You're inhaling through your nose and you're exhaling through your mouth. And there's a method called box breathing that you can try, where you inhale through your nose for 4, you hold it for another 4, and then you breathe out for 4, you rest for 4. And they call that box breathing. So that cycles 4, 4, 4, 4. Breathe in 4, hold 4, release 4, relax 4, and repeat. And you can do that several times a day. So you can do it first thing in the morning. It's great if you can do it 3 times a day. First thing in the morning, you can do it midday, and then also before you go to sleep. It's a great way to relax before you go to sleep. So try that. And you're going to feel the difference also mentally and emotionally, releasing that stress when you're deep breathing, getting that proper oxygenation, because we're low constantly. And so it's not allowing us to get proper oxygen. You don't get proper oxygen, your proper oxygen doesn't get to your brain. It affects everything. So that's why you'll hear me. That's another part of like the broken record, right? We'll talk about deep breathing and journaling and mindfulness, because these are keys. And again, week after week, it's like we're building blocks. And I want to emphasize, it's putting it all together. Self-care is an entire package. One of the ladies had reached out last week, and she mentioned in the comments, she said, I'm hearing a lot about symptoms and symptoms and symptoms, but what about solutions? We're building a foundation, because menopause is complex, because it's different for each woman. Like the way I'm going through perimenopause is not the way that you're going to go through perimenopause necessarily, right? Or menopause or postmenopause. But there's a foundation that has to be built, because we have to take care of not only our physical health, we have to take care of our mental health, we have to take care of our emotional health. We're talking about exercise, and we're going to be talking about nutrition. We've talked about healing emotional wounds and why that's important. And we'll have another segment that goes deeper into that, but it's a process. So it's not like, okay, I can just come on and say, do this, and you're going to be great. You're going to sail through menopause, and you're going to thrive. It's a process. And little by little, when we take these steps, we're going to see the overall improvement. It's not a one size fits all. And then it's not a one thing, because let's say, like we talked about last week, you could be doing all the things you need to have a cool bedroom, right? Get the right mattress and the right temperature and the right pillowcase and the right pajamas, all these things. You could be eating the right foods and doing the right exercises. But emotionally, let's say you have childhood trauma that you haven't healed from, you're still going to have difficulties, right? Thriving, being well. So it's an entire package. And I can't emphasize that enough. We have to attend to everything. That's why I emphasize a holistic approach. It's not just do this, you're going to be fine, do that. I want you to focus on everything, your overall health, and not just those symptoms. Think about the root causes, what's behind these symptoms, because as we mentioned before, sometimes there are deeper things that are connected, because our mind and bodies are connected. There's a definite mind and body connection. And if we have not healed emotionally from trauma, and so, things such as this, then we're going to have a harder time during perimenopause and menopause, which is why I emphasize that if you need therapy, you need the support of an emotional wellness coach. That's what I'm here to help you through as well, in addition to these tips, right? So let's see, let's catch up with the chat. Okay, Nikki says, I've heard of box breathing. Leah says, child pose, upward dog, pigeon pose, supine twist. Good. Yeah, all great. Janet says, I'm driving, so enjoying the session. I stretch before getting out of bed. Last week, I took advantage of Silver Sneakers videos. Good for you. They have seated and standing. Good, great, great. Leah says, I do 5-minute stretch at night and in the morning for you too. Good. And Nikki says, Janet, be careful. yes, be careful while you're driving. Yes. Thanks, Nikki, for those reminders. We're all looking out for each other. Janet says, love walking, but heat wave has thrown me off. Yes. Of course, the challenge is because of the temperature. In the wintertime, it may be too cold to walk outside. In the summertime, it's too hot. So that's why we have great videos we can do at home, right? And take advantage of that. Leah says, Nikki, you're welcome. Yeah. Okay. So think about all these things again, ladies. We're whole. Think about the whole person. And when you formulate your exercise routine, you can get a template, 2 to 3 cardio sessions, add your strength training sessions, active, stretching to make your exercise routine complete. You need all these things. And remember, during this stage of life, it's not about being thinner, it's about being stronger. we need to be stronger. It's not about, how we look, but you're all going to get benefits from, toning and doing your stretches, doing those mindful exercises. You're going to benefit. Okay. So finally, tell me one new thing you're going to try this coming week. And we want to know in our group chats how it goes. We don't want you to forget to keep us posted. So what are we going to try? What's one thing that you're going to try this week to get stronger, right? Build that muscle. Let's see. Janet says, I stopped now at the store on chatting card. Good. All right. See, we're all looking out for you, Janet. We're glad you pulled over. That's why she's able to chat. We know she's looking out for her safety too. Good. So what are we going to try? Let me know what you're going to try this week. And again, share this video. We have other, women out there that may have been cardio queens, like some of us were cardio queens, that are not aware that during this stage of life, we need to focus on strength training, right? And also how it's connected to our emotional well-being, how deep breathing, stretching helps us to relieve stress and tension, anxiety, which a lot of us are facing. So there are a lot of benefits to exercising, doing the right exercises during this time in our life. Now, we're going to be following up with nutrition, right? But next week, I have a seminar. The following week, I'm going to be attending a special seminar. So I'm not going to be on live next Sunday, but what I'm working on is Friday, quite possibly, this coming Friday, I'll do the live around 6 o'clock instead of Sunday, but I will definitely keep you all posted, but more than likely Friday, because I'll be in a seminar the following week. And so I won't be able to be with you all, but I'm hoping to still be able to share some content with you and then pick back up, because we're going to be following up on nutrition during this stage of life as well. Okay, so it's important to take care of yourself in every aspect. Again, I trust that you will do what it takes to reignite your radiance so that you can thrive through menopause. So I'm so glad that you all could be here. Let's see what you're going to do next week. Tiffany says stretching for me. Leah says I'm going to do the pelvic exercises. Thanks for all the awesome info. You're welcome. Terry says deep breathing. Sheila says I'm going to try to find a pool. Sheila, you're welcome to come over to my pool anytime. Just letting you know. Karen says I'm going to do more squats and that child pose. I love that child pose. Love it. Shanae says floor stretches and your kettlebell, right? Nikki says, thanks for this. You are so welcome. Thank you all so much for joining. Love connecting with you all. And until next time, reignite your radiance. Take care. Bye.